Oh, you're good. You're good. That's why I came here. How about this for a new rule? New rule, people from Texas can't be president. How about that? Wouldn't that solve a lot? And again, I'm not saying that as a partisan political I'm not. I'll prove it to you. I said I'd prove it. Because I'm also talking about Lyndon B. Johnson was from Texas, was a Democrat, got us into Vietnam. People from Texas just think differently, okay? They wanted to be their own country, and perhaps they should have been. They're cowboys. And by the way, speaking of cowboys, what is with Bush wearing the cowboy hat and the cowboy boots and the cowboy belt? Memo, there are no more cowboys, which means you're wearing a costume. Okay? You might as well be dressed as Sherlock Holmes or a pirate. The president wears a costume. Just, if you're okay with that, I'm okay. But, you know, I am not one of those people who says that Iraq is Vietnam. First of all, in Vietnam, Bush had an exit strategy. And again, I'll prove it to you again that I am not being partisan when I say that, because when Bill Clinton ran for president and people accused him of being a draft dodger, I never defended that. I love Bill Clinton, but I love the truth more. Yes, he was a draft dodger because you know what? When there's a war on, you either go or you find a way not to go. Bill Clinton found a way not to go. Draft dodger, same as George Bush, a draft dodger. His flashbacks are of blackouts. And then he tries to weasel his way out of it with his morphing act. You know, he is the morph master. You know, he morphed monogamy into integrity. He morphed bin Laden into Hussein. And he tried to morph his National Guard service in 1968 with the National Guard service of today. You know, yeah, back then it was a way to get out. Now it's a way to get in. That's a dirty trick we play on those guys. They think they're signing up for paintball on the weekends. And they wind up in Fallujah. But don't denigrate the Guard. We weren't. We were denigrating you. Gets all huffy about it like he's Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, you know. Have you ever served in an extreme rear area? Well, I have. I get my teeth cleaned 6,000 miles away from people who want me dead. You want the truth? I can't remember the truth. And you know, this draft dodger stuff, I bring it up because it is relevant. It's relevant because if George Bush had gone overseas, like so many brave young Americans do, he would have come to understand what all of them understand, which is that people who are not like us are really not like us, okay? Every time Bush talks about they hate us for our freedom, I just want to slap him in his two-dimensional mind, okay? They hate us for our freedom. They hate us for our freedom. You ought to get a fucking parrot. They hate us for our freedom. They hate us for our freedom. You tell them, Fluffy. They hate us for our freedom. That's right. And that's the problem, I have to say, with this president, is that he's very, what they call, ethnocentric. You know, he only sees the world through his eyes, through the eyes of his culture. I'll give you a good example. After bin Laden slipped through our dead or alive dragnet, in 2001, we put out a bounty on his head of $25 million. And after 3 years, when we still didn't find him, they upped the bounty to $50 million, because that was the problem. Yeah, to the goat herders on the Afghan-Pakistani border who live on $1 a day, $25 million was, quite frankly, insulting. Just, it was, as an author, it was just insulting. Who do you think you're negotiating with, my friend? I don't milk a yak for $25 million. I don't get out of bed for... And what can I tell you? Freedom means different things to different people. The Quran says freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. No. No, that's me and Bobby McGee. I'm sorry. I mix those two up all the time. As for now, you know, did it make us safer? No, not in our lifetimes. I don't care how good that comes out. In our lifetime, it's not going to be safer. Those pictures alone from Abu Ghraib-ass prison ensure that you and I are not going to be safer in our lifetime, because that was the Muslims' worst nightmare, that we would invade an Arab country and then there would be pictures of our hillbilly womenfolk pointing at their wieners. That is like their ultimate... I mean, did you see these pictures? This picture after picture of piles of hairy man-ass. Does the media have such sphincteritis about the military that they can't even point out how overwhelmingly gay this is? When every picture is, hey, get one of me with all the penises in my face. It's like the worst newlywed game ever. Where's the weirdest place you ever made whoopee? On a pile of naked Iraqis, actually. I mean, come on. I don't think Rumsfeld should step down. I think he should come out. Yeah, I guess what's most confusing about Iraq is people think of the Republicans as, if nothing else, efficient. So how could they do this war in such a bad way? This was supposed to be the efficient people. This was the CEO administration, right? That's what they ran on. The Clinton White House was a dorm room. People were late to meetings, and there were pizza boxes everywhere, and people getting blowjobs. I mean, it was a disgrace. And these people came in, they were going to wear a coat and tie, and they were on time to meetings. So how come this is the crowd that fights a 3-week war and then goes, oh, dude, I totally spaced on the post-war. Whoa, shit, I had a little sticky on my computer. It said post-war. It must have fell off. And it is a good question, and I'll give you my theory on it. I think what it is that Republicans, for all their macho posturing, they're really such sentimentalists. You know, everything is that lump in the throat moment. Bush with his arm around the fireman. Oh. Reagan, it's morning in America. Yeah, I used to think, yeah, but I'm not a morning person. So that's why they didn't have a plan, you know? Why didn't they have a plan? Because they didn't think they needed a plan. They just thought, we're going to go over there and we're Americans. We're spreading freedom. We're going to spread freedom dust. You know, who needs a plan? It was Operation Get a Load of Us. So, you know, even if they did wind up getting the big picture right, and that still is something of an if, you know, just the way they fucked it up all along the way, the amount of people who had to die needlessly, the bad judgments, and then during the campaign, Dick Cheney had the nerve to make John Kerry's judgment the issue. That's what he kept saying. Can't trust wild man Kerry's judgment. And I thought, oh, good. Let's have an election based on judgment about national security issues. How about the judgment to piss off the whole world so that we had exactly one real ally for Iraq II, the search for Curly's gold. How about the judgment to ignore briefings and memos with titles like Osama bin Laden is standing right behind you? How about the judgment not to hold anybody accountable for these massive intelligence failures? You realize that since 9/11, the only person to have been held accountable and fired because of this is me? How about the judgment on 9/11 to keep reading to school children when you are told the country is under attack? I mean, talk about being nonpartisan. How much of a partisan pretzel do you have to twist yourself into to work backwards to, yes, when a president is told that the country is under attack, the proper thing to do is to freeze, to choke, to sit there like Forrest Gump. Really. That takes a lot of working backwards to that. Because, you know, it's not like we live in the nuclear age. Oh, wait, we do live in the nuclear age. In fact, Bush and his buddy, Mr. Blair, sold this war partly by telling us that Saddam Hussein could reach us with his nuclear weapons, which he didn't have, in 45 minutes. 45 minutes! But 7 to sit there while your piss dries, that's okay. You know, 7 minutes is a long time in the nuclear age. This is not 1780. Sir, the British fleet has left Portsmouth. What? Well, get moving. Even that guy would have gotten up, you know. They'll be here in 3 months. 3 months? Well, what the fuck are you standing around for? I mean, seriously, 7 minutes. 7 minutes is a long time. Layla is 7 minutes long. Even with the end part, with the guitar solo and the Dwayne Allman and the birds chirping. So, I know Republicans pride themselves on being loyal, and they are. But loyal to what? To a person or to a principle? Because if you defend a president for sitting there for even 1 second after he's told America is under attack, you are loyal to a person more than you are to the truth, to a principle, or to your country. You know, if you defend that, you have drunk the Kool-Aid. You are part of a cult. Because any president of any party would have gotten up. Democrat, Republican, Whig, doesn't matter. President Van Buren, America's under attack, would have gotten up. President Reagan, America's under attack, would have gotten up. FDR would have gotten up. He couldn't even get up. Did he think he was being punked? I can't. Just out of curiosity, you know, I would think just curiosity would make a person get up when someone comes in and says, America's under